Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're joining me from. Welcome back to Too Ambitious and happy holidays to everyone. That's right, cue Mariah Carey. Yes. I was thinking I would have Mariah Carey on the show today to sing a little holiday, but she was busy, couldn't make it. But I hope everyone is settling into this holiday season. And if you're an entrepreneur, basically taking some time for yourself, hopefully, to slow down, recharge, and get ready for the next year ahead. But today, I'm super excited to have my next guest on today. Some of you may know her from LinkedIn or from her podcast, but today I'm excited to talk with her because I think podcasting is so important to all of us. I'm sure we all have our list of my favorite podcasts and everything like that. But Tahjma VanBuren is here with me today. And let me tell you something, she is truly incredible and phenomenal. Let me tell you a little bit about this extraordinary woman. Now, with 7 years of a podcasting experience, Tahjma VanBuren has developed a signature approach that blends podcast strategy, video content, and narrative driven marketing. Now, she's the founder of iMoves Management and the host of her podcast, How to Be Seen. So she's known for her ability to dissect cultural moments, business challenges, and content trends with clarity and candor. Love that. Her clients and collaborators describe her as a strategist, creative partner, and a mirror, someone who helps them to see the version of themselves the world has been waiting for. I think we all need that. Now, let's not wait any longer. Let's welcome the beautiful, the talented, the most fascinating woman on LinkedIn, Tahjma VanBuren. Hello.
Thank you for having me. I feel like your next move, if you haven't already done it, is award show announcements, because that was perfect.
Well, thank you. Well, I used to work in award shows, so maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
In my other life, that's what I used to do. I used to do red carpets, the Golden Globes, Oscars, movie premieres, all that kind of stuff. So maybe that's where it came from. I
Oh,
don't know.
wow.
I don't know. But anyway, this show is all about you today, and I really appreciate you taking this time to come on with me, especially right before the holidays. We love that. Get some good energy, some good vibes. So I want everybody out there who's listening to light up the screen. Let's give her some heart emojis, show her some love because we're gonna have a good conversation today. I mean, why not, right? So, Tahjma, in your own words, how would you describe the work that you do through your company, iMoves Management?
Yes. So I start off with explaining that visibility is the ultimate goal that I
Mm,
have.
yeah.
Podcasting and video content just happen to be the medium in which that takes place.
Yeah.
I think I keep interacting, and I have been interacting with so many incredible people who solve incredible problems. But the number one thing that is the issue is I don't know how to find them. Other people don't know how to find them.
Mm,
But podcasts and video
yeah,
content really merge that together. That's the
absolutely.
simplest way to describe it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I love that description, and you're absolutely right. What I've been finding interesting is that podcasting has ramped up so much, especially I would say in the last maybe 3 to 5 years. You remember when it first came out, and it was just like, oh, you're doing a podcast. Oh,
Yes. The switch from radio to podcast
yeah.
was very impressive, first and foremost. But
Yeah.
then 2020 really was the year that so many things happened for people, but
Yeah.
podcasting specifically ramped up in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I mean, I get it. I mean, we all know what was happening in 2020, but you've had 7 years of podcasting experience. What was it about this medium that captured your attention to begin with? Because it's been around for a while, but it's just kind of, it's taken off in the last few years, as we said. So what was it about it for you?
So my journey with podcasting actually started with a podcast, and I really hope that Past Tajma pulled this down. But if you can find it, cool. It was a podcast called uh,
Mm,
Emerging Black Leaders, Professionals, Emerging Black Professionals.
okay.
Specifically in that area, I was starting one of my first, I call it my big girl job, right after college.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a community of people who were in the space that I was in. And
Okay.
that's really what started me on that path of podcasting. I need a reason to talk to these different people who
Yeah.
I wanted to be mentored by or I wanted to just connect with.
Right.
And it feels like, okay, I want to have you on the podcast. That's an easy next step for people.
Right.
And then along the way, it was just, I kept seeing it unfold in a different way. Then I realized that there's some extra stuff on the backside of it from not from being a host, but from a production side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you touched on a really good point is that a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into putting on a great podcast. You know, the I'm going to be straight up honest. When I was getting started with this show, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to put it on Apple, I'll put it on
Yeah.
Spotify. And I talked to somebody who does podcasts and everything like that. And let me tell you, she was breaking down everything that she had to do. I was exhausted. I was like, girl, what? She's like, and then what you want to do is go. I was like, man, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Mhm.
So, the fact that you do that, for your clients and for yourself, because you have your own podcast, listen, hats off to you.
I appreciate that. The data actually tells us it takes anywhere from 15 to 20 hours in order to produce a single episode. Produce from recording to production to actually getting people to listen to it.
No,
Mhm.
that is a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have a signature approach to podcasting though, that, I know your philosophy is helping your clients to grow their visibility, from recording to video content and crafting narrative for them. So tell me a little bit about the process that you go through.
Yeah. So basically we're tapping into who is this person as an individual first. Because like I mentioned, I end up connecting with people that are brainiacs and super experts in their specific field,
Right.
but they don't know how to platform it. So what I'm figuring out initially, a lot of times people think we're going to jump right into recording, but I need to know who you are first. Let me connect with you. Let me understand what your magic is. Some people, their magic is getting into the theory. Other people, their magic is they're 100% an extrovert, so they need someone in the room in order to bring that out of themselves. So me being able to understand that aspect of them lets me know, do you need to be a host of a podcast, or do you need to really focus on being a guest of a podcast? Because there's a whole different track that you would go in that area.
It is. But what if you can do both though?
You can, and I do recommend it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you're launching a podcast for the very first time, I recommend spending like 3 months just ramping up interest from being a guest in other people's podcasts.
Okay.
Then your ask at the end of all of those guest features is sign up for the email newsletter. I'll let you know when the podcast is available. So you're launching to a warm audience, which is the number one thing, aside from equipment, the number one thing that people freeze up about when they're wanting to start podcasting or any version of video content is, how do I launch to somebody? I feel like I'm going to launch an entire podcast and crickets.
Yeah.
But there's some marketing aspects that go into that.
Big marketing aspects of it. It's such a competitive space. I mean, I think about there's Emma Greed's podcast, Aspire, that I love and listen to. And I mean, she was promoting that for, I don't know, a good couple months. I was like, what is this thing, And obviously she has the momentum and the resources to really amplify that. But if you're not this hugely famous person and with a lot of resources, in addition to what you were saying, what are some other ways that, someone can, get their podcast out there?
So something that you just mentioned with Emma is people assume that just because you already have a platform, that means that there are people that are going to transfer to that podcast space. And one of the things I mentioned, I haven't done it yet this year, but one of the things I mentioned for the end of last year was there were a couple of top performing podcasts in the business category.
Okay.
And one of them was Morgan DeBon. Love Morgan Devine.
Yes.
Yes.
Love her.
One of the things I did notice was she dropped in and out of the top 50 podcasts.
Okay.
And what I noticed between her show and people like Stephen Bartlett and Brene Brown was the amount of work that went into that. Needs to be consistent, which is where search engine optimization comes into play. Also understanding that you creating reels or LinkedIn, the vertical videos on LinkedIn is a dramatically different experience from the actual podcast.
Yes.
The way that you treat those people are dramatically different.
Right.
So to answer your question, basically, is figuring out what do you have time to do.
Right.
With I brought up Morgan Devine specifically because she had time to produce the actual podcast episode, but maybe not as much time to produce consistent short content.
Got it.
So we're going from long form to short. What do you have time to do? Maybe that is simply recording the podcast episode, creating a LinkedIn newsletter.
Got it. To promote it.
Recording the podcast episode and pulling out 6, 8, sometimes you can even get 12 different short clips from a podcast episode.
Yeah.
What is your sustainable aspect? And when is it time to actually bring people on board to make that happen?
Okay. That completely makes sense. And, when you mention SEO, I think that's another part of podcasting that people don't necessarily associate with podcasting and being a successful podcaster. I'm guilty of that too. And, when I do the research about SEO, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot of things I need to make some changes on, what are some of your SEO strategies that you recommend to drive more downloads, discoverability? I know it all kind of matters. I know you've mentioned show notes and stuff like that, titles and stuff like that before. What are some others?
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to answer this without nerding out about it. So I can get down a rabbit hole with this.
Please nerd out. I mean, that's why you are a fascinating woman.
But basically on the top layer, you're thinking about the thumbnail, the title, and the show notes. Of course, you want to make sure those pieces are as descriptive as possible. And a lot of times we run into the habit of choosing titles that are catchy and fun, but they're not searchable.
Yeah.
So most any podcasts or video content that you'll see that I produce specifically, my name is not in the actual title. Because Tahjma VanBuren, as much as I love the people that actually know me, people aren't consistently looking up my name, but they are looking up podcast content. They are looking up, I don't even know what another idea would be, but they are looking up the topic that you're having.
Okay.
One example that I like to bring up consistently is even if you are Beyonce, we need to know what Beyonce is bringing to the table. Just because you have Beyonce on a podcast episode, what is she talking about? Because maybe I can just go listen to her albums or go see her on tour. That I don't need to spend the 45 minutes listening to her talk about nothing.
Right. No shade, Beyonce. Do not come for us behind, please.
Correct. But being able to be as descriptive as possible. One little hack that I use, if you pay attention to business content and pop culture content, merge a little bit, but I don't produce pop culture content.
Okay.
But I learn from them in how they are getting people to listen to different things. Okay. If you pay attention to any of the news outlets or pop culture titles, they will list what is in the actual episode. Mm-hmm. This episode features Oprah, or it features the top 10 business podcasts, and it'll be just a list of comments. It's never actually a full sentence. That is them playing the SEO game.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And when you think about the thumbnails, you really just need to make sure that it's emotionally engaging.
Listen, it's just, we could run down a list of things that you should be doing if you are podcasting. Nikedra Rogers says pre-screening is good. Love that. Thank you for that, Niketra. The other thing she also says is promotion and marketing are key, which we know, because very rarely your podcast can be super successful if there's not a marketing strategy behind
Correct.
it. It's
Correct.
just not going to happen. And then Alexander Day also has, she said something as well, which is a very long, but I'm going to try and read it, not because I don't like you, Alexander Day, but I don't think it can fit on the screen. But Alexander Day says, when it comes to content creation, I always say, if you enjoy writing, find a way to publish blogs, articles, newsletters. If you're comfortable on camera, create videos and reels on YouTube and social media. If
Yeah.
you enjoy talking, start a podcast. You won't always start strong, but you will get better the more you do it and the more you publish. The hardest part is starting and staying consistent, but just take the leap and start. The best time may have been yesterday, but the next best time is now. So thank you so much,
Okay,
Alexander.
Alexandria.
Alexander, just dropping knowledge and just be like, boom.
Hmm.
Um, Tell me a little bit about like some of the services that you provide for your clients. Because when you were saying it could take, what would you say, 12 to 15 hours,
15 to 20, yeah.
15 and 20? Yeah. How does that work, Tajma?
So pretty much what most people in the podcast space offers, podcast launching. If you need help with launching those, the entire brand itself, that's what we work on.
Okay.
Managing a show that's already there, from editing to guest curation, that whole gambit. A
Yeah.
little bit of social media management. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody that is doing podcasts specifically. And then I've moved into YouTube strategy as well, because as we know, I think we mentioned previously that Netflix has bought all these different platforms in order to bring podcasting to a different platform.
Right.
So
Right.
podcasts and video content are mutually exclusive. So bringing that into the space, even if you don't want to do a podcast, the main difference between podcast and YouTube is an RSS feed.
And just for everybody who's out there, what is an RSS feed?
Basically, it's a way to funnel your content to other spaces. Some tools have been able to move YouTube channels automatically or YouTube videos automatically to other platforms.
Nice.
So maybe we'll see a development in that space, but
Yeah.
that's really the difference. And the way that
Yeah.
you treat them and edit them is a slight difference, because you're going for somebody's ears in podcasts, but then again, as video content has moved forward,
Yeah.
we're wanting to create a visual experience for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what do you think about this whole Netflix push to airing, video podcasts and everything like that? What's your thoughts on that?
So when I heard about this, I think it's truly just a money grab. I think people
Mm.
are, in the simplest way, I think it's a money grab. I think people are exploring podcasts or spending their time and attention on podcasts and unscripted content for the most part. So podcasts are scripted.
Yep.
And Netflix just wants to be able to buy a piece of that.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
They're just moving some of the top performing podcasts into the Netflix space so that they're holding your attention on their platform at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Which attention economy is something that I personally battle with, because I'm keeping people on their phone all the time, all those things.
Oh my God, yes.
But hopefully you're delivering something of value that's supportive to them that people can actually act on. So I think Netflix is smart for doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, it's always about the bottom line, right?
Right.
And you're fighting for eyeballs. And I think some of the high profile podcasts, when we think about, some celebrities or, people like, Stephen Bartlett, who has like these incredible guests on and everything like that, then yeah, you can see the value in wanting to see those people and see their faces, how they react to a question,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So that I think is really interesting. So okay, Netflix, we see you. It's we get it. What do you consider to what makes a good podcast?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think a couple of different things. First and foremost, when there is an emotional draw with the
Mhm.
host between the audience.
Okay.
Why people want to automatically bring guests on, but I don't know who that guest is. I know who you are. Why
Right.
am I listening to them? I want to
Right.
make sure that I know who this person is.
Right.
So you spend a little bit of time creating those solo podcast
Mhm.
episodes. That would be one, the
Mhm.
emotional draw.
Yeah.
Then actually having a story arc, something that I've seen, and I have fallen into the trap myself, um, where we bring guests on and we're just simply asking them questions, but there's not a whole lot of storyline that the guest is
Right.
following. I
Right.
don't know what to be engaged in. I don't know what to expect.
Right.
If the perfect podcast really follows a TV show script,
Mm.
and I think you probably would align with this given
Yeah.
the work that you've done,
Yeah.
you are engaging with people from a visual standpoint. If you pay
Absolutely.
attention, a lot of people point Gen Z out for their attention span, how you need to be on it. But if
Yeah.
you go right now and look at a Netflix show and count the seconds between how many times they're changing the angle, it's every 3 to 4 seconds. So you're
Mm.
keeping people's attention, you're
Yep.
engaging emotionally with the host,
Yep.
and then you're actually solving somebody's problem.
Yes.
Because you can talk
Yes.
about theory all day, you can have all these opinions, but what can somebody do with what you just shared with them? Which
Yeah.
again goes back to the search engine optimization aspect of it.
Right.
One of the people I work with the other day, he said his client went into ChatGPT and said, "I'm a lawyer and I'm scared," and his content pulled up because all of his
Oh.
content
Right.
relates to him being able to solve the problem of how are we helping lawyers with the stress that they feel in that profession? How are
Right.
we helping
Right.
them with building out a vision? So
Yeah.
solving a problem, an emotional connection with the host,
Hmm.
and then keeping people's attention intuitively.
Yeah. I think that, one of the things that resonates with me when you say, that emotional connection. And when I think about some of the podcasts that I listen to, you're absolutely right. I know how the host is going to kind of show up and how they sort of ask their questions and everything like that. And, I do tend to gravitate towards a certain type of podcast. So that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
I will say too that I know you have your own podcast, How to Be Seen, appropriately titled, and I was listening to some of your episodes and everything. And I will say, first of all, you've got a phenomenal voice. Your voice
Oh,
is there's a clarity and a soothingness to your voice. I was like, I could listen to her voice all day long.
stop. Thank you.
I'm just putting it out there. You might want to do something with that. I don't know, some calm or something, get on the calm app, tell me something, but I've listened to some of your episodes, and I know that you also say that your show in particular, How to Be Seen, it's a love letter to women who have shaped you. Who are some of those women who've inspired you to be great? And how does that extend to your own podcast?
Yes. I feel like I'm constantly talking about my mom. I love that lady so much.
Yes, shout out to your mom. Yes.
My mom has taught me what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, to
Mhm.
be a woman, to um, go through ups and downs, all the things that I'm sure that a whole bunch of other people can resonate with their
Yeah,
mom, or hopefully.
yeah,
Um, so being able to witness her be so um, invested in her ability to help people solve their problems, be an event planner,
yeah.
all of those things, but then figure out how to build an entire website or figure out how to talk to people in order to engage with them, to be able to sell. Just because you're good at what you do doesn't mean that you know how to sell that thing consistently. So that has been a huge thing. And then I think of some of the just random people that I've met that, like I said, they are just so specific. Oh my gosh, Trish. My fifth grade English teacher. And I learned she was doing her job at the end of the day. But I had never experienced somebody truly understand what it looks like to understand people in a way. I went to a private charter school for 5th to 8th grade, I think it was, to experience how she engaged with students, how she literally just broke down words. Right now, I could tell you the breakdown, like the prefix, the suffix, just because of this one lady. No one else ever talked about it ever again after that. But being able to see that people who are in their element so much that they're helping solve so many other people's problems, I am in awe of them.
Yes.
People who find their calling, people who find what they're supposed to be doing, and they settle in that. I think that's so impressive.
Yeah,
as
it is.
As a 28-year-old, I'm like, okay, I got some people I could be looking up to. That's where I want to be able to move forward, and that's what I want to embody for my 6-year-old sister, the other people who are younger than me, and outside of her, so on and so forth. That's a very long-winded answer to that, hopefully.
No, that was actually really perfect. And again, shout out to your mom and shout out to your 5th grade English teacher, for obviously continuing to have such an impact on you and how you show up and how you show up for others. I think that, there are people throughout our lives who basically have become part of our souls and they're part of our DNA now, right? And I think anytime we can kind of look back and say, yeah, I see where this person has had an impact on me as a gift. So thank you for sharing that, I want to basically say that I think the work that you're doing and the opportunities that you have to work with so many people as they build their podcasts and shape their podcasts, I think is really a gift. And as we, obviously we're on a podcast right now, but as we look to the future of, 2026 is upon us and everything like that, what do you think is next for the world of podcasting? Where do you see it going?
Live content is becoming more, it's already been important.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more important than ever, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And people are wanting more in-person or experiential things, I'll say.
Okay.
So you're seeing, a lot of podcasts are going on like tours, or they are.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Exactly. So the people are wanting to craft an experience. Most of the answers that we are looking for at this point can already be answered by AI. So we're not probably going to come up with some other answer faster than what somebody else can come up with it. It's actually how you say it and your personality and what experience you're creating for those people. So multiplying your impact from doing the podcast recording live, turning it into a recording for the audio and then the video aspect, and then figuring out how do I craft an experience in this specific recording, but then create an outside experience outside of that, because it's never just this single episode. People want to feel what you bring to the table, what your essence is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, from what I'm seeing too, it's not just podcasting, it's across social media in general, it's consistency. It's about showing up. And I know you hate this word, authentically, but it's bringing your whole self. And that's what people really want to latch onto. So,
Mhm.
you know, Alexander, this time he can't go up on screen. Alexander is saying this conversation is so important right now, and I'm glad Trish and Tajma are willing to even get a bit vulnerable and give us the real stories. I hope viewers really take advantage of this conversation. Thank you so much, Alexander Day. I
That's
appreciate
sweet.
that. Yeah, such a great, and I love your name too. It
I
feels
know.
like
That's
yeah,
like I hope Alexander is writing a book at some point.
yeah, right. I mean, I would. I'm like, yeah, I'm reading Alexander Day's book. I was like, why not? Before I let you go, Tajma, I just want to get a quick like tech stack, because we know what it takes to do a podcast and everything like that. Let's go with the top 3 things that if you're thinking about starting a podcast or anything like that, what is it that people need to have?
I would do for sure Riverside or StreamYard. That's a
Okay.
platform that you are going to record your audio or video. I
Okay.
do not think that video is optional anymore in podcasting.
No, it is not.
So that's one thing. And then Veed, so VEED, Victor,
Yes.
elephant, dog, is another one for more of your. I mostly use that for a vertical video for adding the subtitles. Almost anything that you post online, unless it's like TikTok, because TikTok is a lot better at putting their subtitles.
Right.
I would add subtitles already.
Okay.
And don't get too fancy. People want to feel comfortable with it.
Right.
And then for the regular person, you're probably going to engage with some version of Canva.
Yes.
These are tools that you probably have already heard.
Right.
Riverside, StreamYard, Veed, and Canva. Canva is mostly for when you're hopefully you are turning some of your best pieces of like quotables into quote graphics, or into, if you mention some books in different episodes, like some of the different clients that I work with, their clients or their guests will mention books. And I'll just create like a little graphic of, hey, this is the book list for this podcast episode or podcast so far. So those are the 4 tools that I would say.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And your top 2 or top 3 favorite podcasts to listen to other than your own?
I do not listen to my own. I know. What? Unless I'm like analyzing myself, I'm not listening to it.
Oh my God, this is celebrity behavior.
I'm going to go with one that I learned from, as far as what podcasting looks like in a different way. Higher Learning Podcast with David Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. I started listening to that because Rachel Lindsay was the first Black Bachelorette. I fell in love with her, all those things. They're really good at understanding how to create conversation. They mostly talk about news and pop culture stuff. Yes, they're total gems. They mostly talk about news and pop culture stuff. And then the other one that I would say, I'm going to be a little selfish with this one. It's one that I produce called Sacred Vessel Restoration.
Okay.
This one is a person that talks about all of the healing things for your body, from yoga to massage to all the things.
Yeah.
I learned how to really, truly steep my tea the correct way the other day.
I love that. I'm definitely subscribing to that one. I love it. Well, thank you so much for that. I listen to Higher Learning as well, so that's one of my faves as well. Do you consider yourself ambitious, Tahjma?
I would. For better and for worse, I would.
Listen, we smoke ambition over here, okay? So, yeah. Tell me where we can find you, Tahjma. How can people work with you? What's the best way? I know you're on LinkedIn, you're active on LinkedIn and everything like that, but how can we work with you?
Yes, it's mostly on LinkedIn, and everything that I've ever done is probably on my website, iMoves Management. And yeah, that's how you find all the things.
I love it. Well, if you are looking for someone who can help you with your podcasting, definitely reach out to Tahjma VanBuren. You can find her on LinkedIn. You can also find her at iMoves Management. It's been on the ticker down there at the bottom. Support Black women-owned businesses, especially this holiday season and beyond. So there you have it. Well, thank you so much, Tahjma, for talking podcasting with us today. I appreciate your time, and this has been really great. And I'm glad we connected on LinkedIn. LinkedIn brought us together, by the way. So, so this has been a really great conversation. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Too Ambitious, the last one for the year. I will see you next year. But until then, happy holidays, happy new year. Take care of yourselves. Don't eat too much. And if you do, at least get out and walk. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.